Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you're staying safe. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to our stretch. Let's stand up. We're going to do a little back bend. So here we want to look up and just start to bend. You can place your hands behind your hips here and try to bend back. Nice. Now let's bring those arms out wide and reach up. Reach up towards the ceiling. And again, go to that back bend. So now we're kind of reaching our arms back and behind our head. And again, bring those arms out wide and down. And let's hinge at our hips. So here, push those hips back. And we're going to reach those hands down towards our feet. Let's lift up out of that stretch. Again, with nice flat back. Let's step forward with one leg and drop that opposite knee down towards the floor. Like we're in a very wide lunge. So here you should be feeling that stretch from your quad up into your hip flexor. Let's take that same side arm and reach up towards the ceiling. And let's start to lean over towards the side of our up knee, so you can really feel that stretch. And let's come up and out of that stretch. Let's straighten out that leg that's forward. And I like to place my hands on my thigh and just apply a little overpressure for an even deeper hamstring stretch. You should be feeling this on the back of your upper leg. Let's come up out of that stretch. That same leg, bring your heel up and you can grab your ankle or your foot, and we're going to go into a quad stretch. So we want to bring that ankle as far up and back as you can. Just make sure you're keeping that knee pointed down towards the floor. Go ahead and relax. Same side leg. Let's cross it in front and above the knee. And we're going to sit our hips down and back into that stretch. So it should look like this. If you need to have your arm out just to help with balance, you can do that. Or if you have a table or a desk nearby that you can help with that balance, go ahead and use that. Go ahead and relax. And again, let's bring our arms out wide. Now, if you have a wall that you can step back to, step against, so that way your arms are aligned with the wall, palms against that wall. And let's start to raise both arms up, sliding against the wall. And I want you to pull your elbows down, like at a 90-degree angle. Try to keep those palms back. And then bring the hands down just by rotating. Try to keep those elbows up. We're keeping that 90-degree bend at the elbow. And let's start to rotate those hands down, as far down as you can. Back up. See if you can come all the way up towards the ceiling. by extending those arms up. Now, bringing those arms down, keep those hips against the wall, and we're going to reach down again towards our feet, towards the floor, keeping those hips back, hips against the wall. And then slowly come up out of that stretch. We're going to step forward with our opposite foot. And we're going to do those same series of stretches, just over to the other side. So down into that, like you have that wide lunge, dropping that back knee down. And then that same arm, we're going to reach up towards the ceiling, staying in that lunge. So here we feel that nice stretch from our quad up to our hip flexor. And let's start to bend and reach our arm the opposite direction. And then let's come up out of that stretch, but let's straighten out our front or that leg that's forward. So here, isolating that side for your hamstring stretch. Now I can feel that this side is a little bit tighter and I'm having some trouble really locking it out. I'm going to apply just a little bit more pressure from my hands. So now I'm getting a really deep stretch. And this focuses on the short head of the biceps femoris, which is just one of those muscles of the hamstring group. But a really great stretch. And you're feeling those muscles are tight. Let's come up out of that stretch. That same leg, we're going to go into our quad stretch. So grab that ankle or foot, and we want to pull that leg up and back. And again, if you need help with your balance, bringing that arm out just creates like a counterbalance to help you stand on one leg. To disperse your weight a little more evenly. So go ahead and relax. Now we'll take that same leg and we want to cross it over and above the knee joint. And again, let's sit those hips down and back for our stretch here. And if you need something to help with your balance, you can go ahead and use the wall or table. I know some of you have great balance, so if you have great balance, you can also bring those arms up and hold that stretch. Go ahead and relax. Now we're going to take a very wide stance. Try to point your toes out towards each wall. And we're going to start to lean over to one side. We're going to bend that knee. And we're going to start to straighten out that opposite leg. And the side that you're bending towards, reach that arm down towards the floor. If you can, try to touch your toe. With that opposite arm, turn, reach up towards the ceiling. Try to get those fingertips pointing up. Now let's start to reach over towards that opposite wall or same side wall. So let's start to come up and out of that stretch. Now we're going to start leaning over to the other side. Let's bend that knee. And then we'll straighten the other leg. So we're into that side lunge. Same side hand, let's reach down to the floor, or if you can, to the toes. Turn and reach that other arm up towards the ceiling. Fingertips up. Now let's start to reach towards that same side wall. Good, now we can come up out of that stretch. And let's take one arm across our chest. We're going to hook and squeeze it. And while we're in our upper body, arm, and shoulder stretch, just try to bring your hips forward to really help stretch out again those hip flexors. And let's switch, and we'll bring that other arm across our chest. Now let's take one arm above our head. We're going to bend our elbow. Take our opposite hand, and we're going to pull back and across. Let's switch. Other arm. We'll take our hand at the elbow, pull back and across. Very nice. Let's bring one hand forward. We'll take our opposite hand, just stretch that wrist. A little over pressure. You don't want to pull super hard, just nice and light until you feel that stretch from the wrist to your forearm. Now let's switch. Now let's take this hand, we're going to rotate, point those fingertips down, and again, just a little, I guess would be under pressure, but really over pressure. Again, feeling that stretch from the wrists up the forearm. And let's switch. We'll rotate, point those fingertips down. Just to get a slight pull for that stretch. Good. And just shake it out a little bit. I like to do a couple of wrist circles, a couple of shoulder rolls, and just kind of shift those hips from side to side. And that's all the stretches I have for you today. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you enjoyed the stretches. I'll see you next time.